Have you ever wondered what you'd do if you saw a sign in the sky? Mysterious light, shining brighter than all others, calling you to an unknown journey? 2,000 years ago, 3 men in the desert saw exactly that. They were Magi, wise men from the east, and that star changed their lives forever. But what did they find at the end of their journey? And why does this event still stir our hearts today? These Magi weren't ordinary. They were scholars, men who read the heavens like an open book. When they saw the star, they knew something great had been born. A king, perhaps? Savior? Curiosity burned in their hearts. They left everything, crossed deserts, faced dangers, just to follow that glow. Have you ever felt a call like that? Something you can't explain but pulls you forward? Meanwhile, in Jerusalem, King Herod lived in luxury, but trembled with fear. He was powerful but paranoid. Any whisper of a new king sent him into a panic. When the Magi arrived asking about a king of the Jews, Herod shook. Who was this newborn? Why was he already causing such a stir? The entire city buzzed with whispers of ancient prophecies. Herod was no fool. He summoned the best scholars, the teachers of the law, and demanded answers. Where will this so-called king be born? They opened the scrolls and read an ancient prophecy. In Bethlehem, a small town destined for greatness. A leader would come from there, a shepherd for the people. Herod felt the ground slip away, a rival in Bethlehem so close. But Herod was cunning. He pretended friendship with the Magi. Go to Bethlehem, find this child, and report back. I want to worship him too. The Magi, unsuspecting, set off. The star reappeared, guiding them like a beacon in the sky. Each step brought them closer to the greatest mystery of their lives. Have you ever followed something without knowing what awaits? The star stopped over a simple house. The Magi, in their rich robes, entered and saw something unforgettable. A baby with his mother, Mary. No palace, no guards, just peace. They bowed, hearts racing, and opened their treasures. Gold, frankincense, myrrh. Gifts for a king, but why for this child? What did they know that we still seek to understand? That night, a dream changed everything. Divine warning. Don't return to Herod. He's dangerous. The Magi obeyed and fled by another route. Meanwhile, Herod waited, impatient. When he realized he'd been outwitted, his fury erupted. What he did next shocked the world. Are you ready for this part? Herod issued a cruel order. Every boy in Bethlehem, 2 years old or younger, was to die. He wouldn't risk his throne. Screams filled the streets, mothers wept, and grief consumed the city. An ancient prophecy came true. Rachel weeps for her children, inconsolable. How could one man, driven by fear and power, stoop so low? But the child Herod sought to destroy was already safe. An angel appeared to Joseph in a dream. Flee to Egypt, now. Joseph didn't hesitate. In the dead of night, he took Mary and the child and left. They crossed deserts, faced the unknown, all to protect that little one. Have you ever done something like that for someone you love, without looking back? In Egypt, they lived in hiding, beyond Herod's reach. Years passed until another dream brought news. Herod was dead. Joseph felt relief but also fear. Was it safe to return? It's what awaited them in Israel. This child's story was just beginning, and every step was guided by something greater. Do you believe in destined paths? Joseph, Mary, and the child returned to Israel, but danger still lingered. Herod's son, Archelaus, now ruled Judea. He was as cruel as his father, and Joseph hesitated. A new dream gave the answer. Go to Galilee. They obeyed, settling in Nazareth, a small, almost forgotten town. Why there? Was a greater plan at work. Nazareth wasn't famous. People even mocked it, saying, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" But there, that child would grow, far from the eyes of the powerful. He would be called a Nazarene, as the prophets had foretold centuries before. Every detail of this story feels connected, like a divine puzzle. Have you ever noticed coincidences in your life that seem like fate? Meanwhile, the story of the star and the Magi spread. People whispered about the baby who escaped Herod, the king who brought such suffering. That birth was no ordinary event. Ancient prophecies were coming true, and the people began to dream of hope. A savior was among them. But who was he really? Think about it. The Magi crossed the world for a star. Joseph fled in the night to save his family. Mary trusted, even without understanding everything. Each followed a call, faced fear, but didn't give up. What would you do in their place? Would you follow a sign, even if it seemed crazy? This story hits deep, doesn't it? Now, I want to connect with you. If you're loving this story full of faith and mystery, comment the word star. When I see your comment, I'll be thrilled, knowing you're as curious as I am. I'll drop a heart on your comment. Commented yet? Awesome, let's keep going. This journey wasn't just about a baby. It was about something bigger, something that would change the world. The Magi didn't come by chance. The star didn't shine for no reason. Even Herod, with his cruelty, was part of a plan he never understood. Every piece of this story points to a purpose. Have you ever felt your life as part of something greater? The Magi's gifts, gold, frankincense, myrrh, weren't random. Gold for a king, frankincense for a priest, myrrh for someone who'd faced death. Did they know who that child was? Did they just feel something they couldn't explain? These details make us wonder, are there signs in our lives we haven't yet understood? While the child grew in Nazareth, the world had no idea what was coming. He was ordinary to many, but carried a destiny no one could imagine. His story didn't end in Bethlehem or Egypt. It was just beginning. Have you ever thought about how your own story is being written? The prophets spoke of him centuries before. The star guided the Magi. Angels protected his family. Everything seemed impossible, but it happened. This story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, there's light. There's hope. There's a plan. Do you believe there's something like that in your life, even when things feel uncertain? Years passed, and the boy from Nazareth grew quietly. He was just another child to the neighbors, helping Joseph in the carpentry shop, running through dusty streets. But there was something different about him, something that, even without words, drew attention. How could someone so ordinary carry such an extraordinary destiny? Have you ever met someone who seems to have a unique spark? Meanwhile, the stories about his birth kept spreading. The shepherds who saw angels, the Magi who followed the star, the escape to Egypt. It sounded like legend, but it was real. Israel lived under Roman rule, yearning for a liberator. Could this boy in Nazareth be the answer? Or just another fleeting hope? Nazareth was humble, but alive. Mothers told children stories of the prophets, and Mary surely treasured every moment in her heart. She knew who her son was, even if the world didn't yet understand. Imagine carrying that secret. Your child, so fragile, is the one the heavens proclaimed. Have you ever held something so big it barely fits inside you? The years in Nazareth shaped that boy. He learned the law, heard God's promises, grew with a mission few could grasp. But the time was nearing. Prophecies don't lie, and the world would soon discover who he was. Do you ever feel something big is about to happen in your life, even if you can't name it? Now hold on a second. If you're loving this story and want more like it, subscribe to the channel now. It's quick, and you'll join our family of people who love uncovering these mysteries. Subscribed already? Perfect, because the story's about to get even more exciting. Let's dive back in. This journey isn't just about the past. It speaks to us today. It makes us ask, what if there are signs in our lives we haven't seen? What if, like the Magi, we need to leave everything to follow something greater? This story challenges us to look within. What guides you like the star guided those men? The prophets had said. A Nazarene he will be called. And there in that small town the future was being prepared. But what would come next? How could a boy from Nazareth change the world? The answer lies in the details we're about to reveal. Are you ready to dive deeper into this story? The story isn't just history, it's a call to action. It asks us, what if we too have a mission? What if, like the Magi, we need to follow a sign even if it feels impossible? This journey pushes us to look at our own paths. What's guiding you right now? The boy grew, the world around him simmered. Rome tightened its grip, religious leaders argued, and the people dreamed of freedom. No one imagined the answer was in Nazareth, in a young man who would soon reveal his purpose. Each day brought him closer to his mission. Have you ever felt you're preparing for something big? Now we're heading toward the climax? The next part will show how this story came to life and changed everything. Get ready. We were about to reveal what happened when the world finally saw who he was. Curious? Let's go. The boy from Nazareth was no longer a child. He grew, and something powerful was about to be revealed. People around him noticed. His words carried weight. His eyes held truth. He wasn't just the carpenter's son. He was this man who seemed to know hearts. Have you ever met someone who made you question everything? At 30, he began his mission. He walked through villages, spoke to crowds, touched the sick. Every step echoed the prophecies. The star that guided the Magi, the angels that protected his family, all pointed to this moment. The world was about to change, but not everyone was ready. Are you? He spoke of love, forgiveness, a kingdom not of this world. His words were simple, but cut like a knife. People were divided. Some saw him as a savior, others as a threat. Just as Herod feared his birth, the powerful now feared his voice. Why can one person cause such a stir? Miracles began. The blind saw, the lame walked, storms calmed. Each act was a sign, proof he was more than human. Yet he didn't seek fame, sought hearts. Imagine being there, witnessing this with your own eyes. What would you feel? Fear, hope, or both? This story, which began with a star, now shone on its own. He needed no palaces or armies. His strength was in the truth he carried. Even facing rejection, he pressed on. Every step was to fulfill what the prophets foretold. Have you ever fought for something bigger than yourself, but danger grew? Just as Herod sought to destroy him at the start, new enemies emerged. He plotted in the shadows, fearing what he represented. He knew what awaited him, but didn't flee. Why? Because his mission was greater than life itself. Have you ever felt a purpose that pushes you through fear? This journey challenges us, makes us ask, what if I too have a mission? What if, like him, I need to follow my path, even with fear? This story isn't just about the past. It lives in us, calling us to something greater. What will you do with that call? Hey, if you've made it this far, like the video now. This simple gesture shows me you're with us on this journey. Liked it? Great, because we're almost done. But first, let's talk about what this story means for the world today. Ready? 2,000 years later, this man's story still moves billions. He left no riches, no armies, but a legacy no one can explain. From Bethlehem to Nazareth, from Egypt to the crowds, every step showed there's hope, even in darkness. If you watched until the end, comment the phrase, "I stayed until the end." When I see your comment, I'll drop a heart because I know you dove into this story with me. Thanks for being here. This journey ended, but yours is just beginning. What's next?